Welcome back to NY Flight Jets Talk. Hope you guys had a great day. We're doing a little night stream tonight. We'll have some guests popping on and some special guests later. I don't know what time, but they'll be hopping on throughout this stream. I can guarantee you. We will be using the mock off season. The off season simulator, not mock off season simulator provided by Jets X Factor, which is just a great simulator. All the features are great. I really like it. I think it's one of the best they've had in the past years. But let's dive into the big news out of the Twitterverse from today. Obviously, most of you guys probably saw that there are some rumors swirling that Justin Jefferson might be up for trade and the Jets might look to target him. I personally do not see the Jets getting Justin Jefferson. I just don't think personally I don't see in any way why the Vikings would trade him unless he wanted out. And also I don't see the Jets being willing to give up that much to bring him in. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is a top player in the NFL, probably top 5, something like that. But I mean, could you imagine him next to Garrett Wilson? Him next to Garrett Wilson would be just in all. I'm going to use the word generational duo. I think just pair those two together. Oh my God, both young and both very dominant. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in all of football. So if we were to bring him in, that would be a huge accusation for the Jets. But like I said, I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And this rumor kind of I feel like came out of nowhere. I'm not saying that there's a 100% chance that he stays in Minnesota, but I just don't see the Jets putting together honestly, he's so talented. I don't even know what a trade package for Justin Jefferson would look like. I mean, I don't even know how many first-round picks we'd have to give up in order to bring a talent like Jefferson, New York, and pair him with Garrett Wilson. I think, but like I said, that duo would be generational. It would be an all-time receiving duo that just pair those two together and then we have our wide receiver too. That's another thing. I don't want to use I don't know if he'd want to come to New York just because I don't know if he'd want to accept. Well, if Garrett Wilson would probably be the wide receiver too. Then probably be a split role. That's another reason why I don't know. I don't think he's going to come to New York is because of the role. I think the role plays a huge factor. Role plays a major factor in why he would want to come to the Jets. Damian, oh man, Jefferson would be expensive. What would he cost? Honestly, I don't even know what he would cost. I'm more worried about if we were to trade for him, what the package would look like. And his rookie contract is, well, I think he's off his probably rookie contract right now. Let's see what his contract is right now. I believe, yeah. He is on the. He's coming off the rookie contract, but the trade package, I just can't see us putting together a package like that. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Don't see it happening, guys. If you're just joining, guys, thank you. We got 24 people in here. I appreciate all the support. If you're watching on YouTube, there should be the pinned comment in the chat to call into the show. I'll put it back in the Twitter chat. Wow. It's the most live viewers we've had. 44 people, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. I just put the call-in link if you guys would like to call into the show. Wow. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to get into the off-season simulator in a little. But like I said, if you're just hopping in, we were talking about the big news that came out of the Twitter land today. that Justin Jefferson was going to look and come and possibly that he's exploring a trade and that he would come and join this New York Jets roster, which, like I said, I just don't see it happening personally due to I think he would have a reduced role here. I really think he would. I think he would have a reduced role, guys. Appreciate all the support. Like I'm saying, wow, we're at 71 people right now. Appreciate all the love. But going back to what I said, just I've said it time and time again. The role is the problem, and also I just don't see the Jets giving up all those assets to bring in a guy like Jefferson. Yeah, he's talented, but I feel like the Jets look at Garrett Wilson and are like, Garrett Wilson can be their Justin Jefferson. And that's why I just don't see them going after him. I just really don't. I see them going after probably like a cheaper guy, maybe like a Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley guy who we can bring in for cheaper and who can we could trade for him, kind of come in and just plug and play type of guy, play him, and he's going to have success. He will dominate. I think he will fit great in the system. His contract is very favorable. Along with the Calvin Ridley would be a great addition. There's so many guys. Guys, type in the chat if you want us to get to the simulator right now, because mock draft simulator, mock off-season simulator. I don't know why mock off-season I've been having in my mind, because we're at that time where all the content creators are putting out their mock off-season. So guys, type in the chat if you would like us to get to the off-season simulator right now. This was one of the best, personally, that Jet X Factor has had in a long time. Jet X Factor has great content. Everything they produce is top quality. Everyone there, top notch. Everything they produce, high quality. And I'm looking forward to getting in this simulator with you guys. Guys, I think we should get started in the off-season simulator. We can also do a mock draft later if you guys want. But let's get right into the simulator. All right, I'm gonna pull it up. The simulator. So the simulator, you start. It has trades, and then you go through free agency, clear cap room, then you do like a mock draft type of thing. Let's get right into it. See you, Cuca Lake Jets fan. Connor building up his subs quick. Well done. Simulated up. All right, we're getting into it. I have it in the other tab, so let's go right over to it. Here we go. Can you guys see the screen? Let's see. Yep, there it is. All right. We are going to enter the off-season simulator. Wow, I can't get the word mock off-season out of my head. Build on the momentum. That's right. Let's turn that 7-win season into a 12-win season and win the division and win the AFC. Get right into it. Start. All right, so we have a bunch of trades here. Personally, I'm going to look at these and try to accept, if I'm going to accept any, accept the more realistic ones. So if you look here, first trade, they have Devontae Adams. Us bringing in Devontae Adams, and then we send a first, next year's first, and a third-round pick this year to Vegas. I'm going to decline this one personally. Again, I'm going to try to select the most realistic ones. And like I said, I just don't. Pierce was one of the biggest advocates. I mean, Adams was one of the biggest advocates to bring Pierce back in. And they brought Pierce back in, and now he's their full-time head coach now. So I'm going to decline this trade. I just don't see him coming to the Jets. And I'm going to be realistic. And personally, I just don't want the Jets to make that trade. So we'll go to the next trade. Sam Howell for a 6th-round pick. All right, this one is a little complicated because the Sam Howell rumors have been swirling the last week, the kind of coming days. The rumors have been swirling. Oh, Sam Howell is going to come and join this Jets team. People are going to try to trade we're going to try to trade a late-round pick for him. Personally, if I could have any quarterback on that roster as my quarterback too, personally, it would be Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett would be a great option. He has a ton of experience. Get him cheap, 1-year deal. Sam Howell, I don't really want to give up a pick for, but I'm not going to decline it. I'm going to go to the next one, and we can come back to that trade. All right, Cortland Sutton for a 3rd-round pick. Again, I'm going to look at the other wide receiver trade options they have for us, and I'll come back. There's a lot of these trades that I feel like I'll look at and then come back after I see the remainder of these trades. Jerry Jeudy for a 4th. This is interesting. This is an interesting one because the Broncos offered us the prior trade, which was Cortland Sutton for a 3rd. Personally, if they offered us both trades, I'd rather take the Jerry Jeudy for a 4th, but let's come back to it. I'm not gonna jump the gun on any decisions, so to speak. Brandon Ayuk for this year's 1st-round pick. That's really, really difficult. If you look at Ayuk, he's one of the best options out on the free agent / trade market. He's by far one of the best options. But do I want to give up my 1st-round pick when we can bring in maybe an Olu, maybe a Romo Dunze's there? I'm not going to accept this. Personally, I think Ayuk's very talented, but I'm not going to do this deal. I'm not going to do it. I just don't want to give up this year's 1st. I think there's too much talent. All right. Wow, this is another wide receiver. We bring in Mike Williams and we send out to LA. We send out a 2024 3rd-round pick and a 2024 6th-round pick. Again, I think that's a solid offer personally. Again, we're gonna look at the remainder and come back to it, but personally, I think it's a very, very good offer. I think Mike Williams is talented. He has had some injury problems, but I think he's a very, very talented receiver, and you can't take away. I mean, 2 day 3 picks for a guy of his caliber. Oof. I see Cuca Lake Williams' contract is big though. It is a big contract, but still, the talent at his talent, I can't personally can't turn away from that. I can't. Guys, we got guest number 1 of the night joining the show. At perfect time. We're actually looking at the trades. Let's bring him on. Tigo, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Connor. How are you?
I'm doing great. First time on the show. Hopefully not the last. I like the haircut. I've seen it in the newer videos, and I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Took too long for me to finally go and get my hair cut.
Well, I love the cut. So you joined at a perfect time, midway through the off-season simulator from Jet X Factor. We're looking at the trades. We haven't really accepted or declined anyone. We're just looking through the options and gonna go back to the trades and see what we think is a good option or good options and think could bring value to the team. All right, so this is the one we just looked at. Mike Williams for a 3rd and 6th-round pick. Cooper Lake did make a good point. His contract is big, but personally, the talent that we're bringing in for 2 day 3 picks, I just think the drop off between those picks and his talent is a big drop off. I would personally accept that trade. What about you?
I wouldn't. No. He's too injury prone.
I agree. He has had injuries, but he is a playmaker. But again, we can always come back to this trade and look at the other options we had. We did have some other options. The Cortland Suttons of the world were out there. Jerry Jeudy was out there. Other wide receiver too. Ayuk was out there for a 1st-round pick, which I didn't want to give up a 1st-round pick for Brandon Ayuk. You would?
Without batting an eyelash.
Really?
Without even.
The chat agreed with me on that one. Wow, but he's very talented. But if you look at the talent we can bring in, we do need to. I don't think we can get 2 tackles in free agency that
I don't
are
think
worth.
We need 2 tackles. I think we need 1 tackle.
Do you think Mekhi Becton could start next year?
I don't think. No, Mekhi Becton's not an option for the Jets, in my opinion. He's not coming back. But when I look at the tackle situation, I have people in the building that I've talked to. I have people who have people in the building that I've talked to that have all has basically have confirmed that Elijah Vera Tucker has been told this offseason, get healthy and get ready to play right tackle. You're the plan at right tackle. And so I don't think you need two tackles. I think you need a tackle and a guard. And I actually think you need a tackle and a center, because I think what ultimately ended up happening was they moved Elijah Vera Tucker out to right tackle and they saw, damn, he's really good there. Pardon my French. And then they moved Tittman into right guard and they were like, wow, he's actually really good at right guard. And then Connor McGovern went down and then they put Wes Schweitzer in at center. And then Schweitzer went down and Tittman had to go play center. And then they realized, oh, okay, so like Tittman can play center. That's what we drafted him to do. And we didn't start him there because he struggles in the shotgun. And he showed us that he continues to struggle in the shotgun with like those passes. But I think what they fell in love with the idea of, and I think it makes a ton of sense, is if you move Tittman to guard, you bring back McGovern, and you move AVT to right tackle, the interior of your offensive line theoretically is solved. It's fixed. Also, we've seen enough from, in my opinion, from Wes Schweitzer to think that he is at least should be considered a high-level interior offensive lineman backup. And so I think that if you ask the New York Jets right now, and again, this is going to change because of free agency and the draft, but if you ask them right now what the plan is for the offensive line, assuming everything goes wrong, the plan week 1 is Carter Warren, Laken Tomlinson, Wes Schweitzer, Joe Tittman, Elijah Vera Tucker. And those 5 guys, while nowhere near the level that we need the offensive line, or not that we need, that we want the offensive line to be, is a good enough offensive line with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Like, that's just the reality of it. We just saw Kansas City go to the Super Bowl with some of the worst offensive line play we've ever seen, especially after Joe Thuney went down, right? They were super solid because of their interior offensive line, because of Creed Humphrey and Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney goes down. Creed Humphrey's the only redeemable piece on that offensive line, and boom, they still win a Super Bowl. Quarterback play wins you games, not offensive line play, because the Lions had the best offensive line in football, and they couldn't even see a chip game.
Yeah, I agree, but you also have to take into consideration, Figo. Aaron Rodgers is not Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a 40-year-old quarterback who played at an MVP level in 2021. But personally, if I look at this defense and the playmakers we have, I really just think we need them to be a top 15 quarterback in this league in order for
agree.
to make a deep playoff run. I don't think we need him to play at an MVP level. It's great if he does.
Yep.
But are we really banking on him to play at an MVP level? Is that, oh my God, we need Aaron Rodgers to play like Patrick Mahomes and win an MVP if this team wants to have any chance of winning the AFC? No, I don't think so at all. I think if you put an average offensive line out there, the playmakers we have on this offense, and then obviously the defense that we have, top 5, top 3, whatever they are, defense in the league, I think this team can easily contend for the AFC. But we do have to get past the Chiefs. We do have to get past the Ravens. I think it's going to be tough in the AFC, but I think
we're built to win in the AFC. We're built to stop teams like the Chiefs. We're built to stop teams like the Ravens. Our defense is built to stop these teams. And that's why I go at it. Like, again, I am not advocating for the Jets to go out there with Carter Warren, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Joe Tittman, and AVT. Like, yes, if you can, go out there and get a better left tackle. Go out there and get, the weapons and the things that you need. But what I think I'm ultimately saying is, we've seen the Cincinnati Bengals have a ton of success, like at least recently, have a ton of success without having the offensive line. They have done very little to improve the offensive line over time. Very little. They went out and signed an average offensive lineman in Orlando Brown Jr. They moved what was a bad offensive lineman in Jonah Williams to the right side, and that worked out. He actually played much better on the right side, in my opinion. and they had a really below average interior offensive line. And this is before Joe Burrow got hurt. I'm just talking about like in previous years. And that team went to a Super Bowl, you
Yeah.
know? And so when I look at it that way, we just saw two very starkly different teams in the Super Bowl. We saw a team that has the quarterback. And even though the rest of the team isn't built all that great, in Kansas City, they have their guy, like their number one guy in Travis Kelce. And then they got a lot of really good pieces, but they've got the quarterback. The rest of the team's maybe not built all that great. And then we saw a team in San Francisco that is built out of this world. Two top 15 wide receivers, the best running back in the game, the best left tackle in the game, the best offensive play caller in the game, in my opinion. Like, but they don't have the quarterback. And I'm not trying to say that Brock Purdy isn't great, or like I am. What I'm saying is I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is bad, but Brock Purdy should not be put in the conversation with the great quarterbacks that we have right now. Brock Purdy is Kirk Cousins. He's Jared Goff. That's what he is. He's going to manage he's Jimmy Garoppolo, without the injuries and the suspension because of Blue Chew. Like, he's good enough. And what we saw was a quarterback that can make plays, a quarterback that can go out there and win you games is more important than the weapons around you. And that is where I go and I say, okay, but like imagine if Patrick Mahomes, even with that bad offensive line and all that stuff, and I think that our offensive line, when healthy, is better than the Kansas City Chiefs one. Health is the biggest thing, right? That being said, like Garrett Wilson and Brandon Ayuk, I don't know how you stop that. Like, I don't know how you stop that.
I agree. I saw Alan in here. Let me scroll up. He was saying the Jefferson talk is laughable. I don't see Jefferson coming to the Jets once in a bazillion years. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna accept a reduced role. And I think the only reason he gets traded if he demands out, which I can see happening, and I see him going to a team that wants to rebuild and is looking for a wide receiver one. I don't see him coming to the Jets where he's going to have a smaller role.
Who, Justin Jefferson or Brandon Ayuk?
Justin Jefferson.
I disagree entirely. I think he's doing this to Stephon Diggs. He wants to go to a team that can win a Super Bowl. Because if he wants to just get paid, if he just wants to hang out and be the wide receiver one, like that's what he is in Minnesota. Like, Addison isn't really going to push Justin Jefferson out the door, like at all. Like, he's just not good enough. KJ Osborne is, hey, I like KJ Osborne, but he's not good enough to put Justin Jefferson out the door. Justin Jefferson, doesn't matter where he goes, his role isn't going to get reduced. I think a great example of that was what Miami did when they got Tyreek Hill, right? A lot of people were concerned that Jalen Waddle's role was going to get reduced. No, they were each just going to go for 2,000 yards. Like, that just... the role didn't get reduced. The yardage was the same. His job just got easier because you can't double team Waddle because you have to double team Hill. But if you're double teaming Hill, Waddle is solo. So now you have two great options. Well, if Justin Jefferson, and again, I think, let me preface this by saying Minnesota would be absolute buffoons if they let the best wide receiver in football walk in a trade. But I would give them the 10 pick. I would give them next year's 1. I would give them next year's 2. And like, I would give them the world if that meant getting Justin Jefferson. And I would make him the highest paid wide receiver in football. And then I would be like, done. The team is set. Because all of the other needs on offense kind of go away. All of them kind of go away. The need for running back 2 that we desperately need right now kind of goes away. The need for revamping the entire offensive line kind of goes away because you can get away with just going and getting a left tackle. We need a left tackle, but you can get away with just going and getting a left tackle because Garrett Wilson or Justin Jefferson are going to get open before Aaron Rodgers is done with his 3-step drop because they've done it for years. Justin Jefferson's been doing it for 4 years. Garrett Wilson has shown us for the last 2 years that he can get open and fast. We just need a quarterback that can spot them. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is going to spot them.
Like, yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Let's go over to the next trade, that scenario that they offer. All right. 2024 first round pick for Garrett Bullets. Would you do
Nope.
that?
Nope. I want
Yeah,
Garrett Bowles,
I
but not for a first.
he's a solid tackle. The age concerns me a little bit there though. He's 31 years old. I'd rather bring in a younger guy, and if we're gonna bring in an older guy, I want his name to be Tyron Smith.
Isn't Tyron
So
Smith older?
Tyron
Oh, you just said
Tyron
that.
Smith is older, but he is very productive. He's very solid. So
But so
if
is
we're gonna
Bowles.
Bowles is also, but I don't think he's worth a first round pick.
No, this is a ridiculous trade. They're talking
Yeah.
about cutting Garrett Bowles because they need to clear cap space. This is why he's becoming available, and this is an option. If they're asking for a first, you laugh at them and you wait until they cut them. I think a more realistic trade would be Garrett Bowles for like a 6th round pick. That's a
Yeah.
realistic trade, and I would do that in a heartbeat because I get concerned with offensive tackles post 34. That's like offensive tackles, they last, man. And Garrett Bowles hasn't missed a game in a couple of years. I would be way, way, way more interested in trading an asset for Garrett Bowles than signing Tyron Smith. I love Tyron Smith, and when he's on the field, he's arguably the best left tackle in all of football. It's just he's not on the field all that much. And that's what scares me with this offseason is just like, I don't know what the answer is at left tackle. Like I'm really scared that we're just going to end up with AVT at left tackle because like it's probably going to be easier to find a right tackle.
I agree with you. It probably is going to be easier to find a right tackle, but I agree with you. I'm not accepting this trade. First
Never.
round pick, never. Ooh, this is another interesting one. We've had a lot of wide receiver trade scenarios. George Pickens for a 3rd round pick. Personally,
I would do it.
I'd
You're gonna draft a receiver in the 3rd anyway, right?
I'd rather do
Theoretically?
I'd rather do the Jerry Jeudy for the 4th round pick than the George Pickens for the 3rd.
I think I would do Pickens because if you trade for Jeudy, you have to pay him. You still have control of Pickens for the next 2 years.
That's a good point. I didn't take the contracts into consideration.
It'd be a $1 million cap hit right now. You're giving up a 3rd round pick, whatever. But Garrett Wilson and George Pickens together is still a really, 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 really scary duo.
Yeah, but then you can have Cortland Sutton. I'd take Cortland. I'd take George Pickens though, probably over Cortland Sutton. But out of all these trades, I don't know. Ayuk for the first is kind of appealing to me just because of how much of a playmaker he is.
That's if we're being honest. If Ayuk is up for a first, that's the trade that I would do. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I agree.
But like if you're trying to bargain bin shop, we know that George Pickens. Here's the problem. One, Elon said it perfectly in the chat. Like,
yeah, they
what
would not.
world does Pittsburgh want to trade George Pickens? Like that doesn't make sense at all. But like the other thing is, do you trade for George Pickens knowing all like the attitude stuff that he's got going on?
Yeah.
And like the kind of diva that he is. And like you could just take a 3rd round pick that you already kind of like. This is a really loaded wide receiver class.
Like a Malik Washington guy, I think.
Yeah, Javon Baker, Brendan Rice.
Yeah, someone like that. Jalen Polk out of Washington, I think, is a great option.
He'll be a 2nd round pick.
What'd you say?
I think Jalen Polk will be a 2nd round pick.
You think he'll go in the 2nd round? I don't know. I think there's still possibility he falls, but let's go over to the next offer. Okay.
Yes.
You're doing this?
See, no. Again, no, because Garrett Bowles isn't worth all that much. Like, really, because they need to cut him. But getting the extra 4. No, we're giving up a 4 and Bryce Huff. Yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I read that as we get a 4 and Garrett Bowles for Bryce Huff. That's what I read it as. No.
Yeah, next.
Yeah.
All right.
Also,
Kevin. No, yeah. Bryce Huff in a 4th.
Wait, actually.
Tevin Jenkins though is a solid. He's an asset. He's a good asset. He's a great. He's a
You cut Lakin now.
Yeah, that's right. He is a guard, and he's 25 too. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
And
Tag
you
and
want to go
trade
back?
Huff in a fourth for Tevin Jenkins? That's a great, and he's on his rookie deal, Tevin Jenkins.
Still young, 25 years old. Cut Lakin, save the $8 million in cap room. We
Throw
have
that.
our guard right there. I think we should accept this, Tiga.
Give it a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I need to see if he played all games last year. Did he or did he not serve a suspension at the beginning of the year? He served a suspension at the beginning of the year, right?
Let's see. I'll check that for you.
Because he played from week 5 all the way to week 18, and he missed some snaps in week 15 and 16. He did not play week 16, but dude, I would do this.
Yeah, you have your guard there now, and you can cut Lakin and save the $8 million in cap room, and then that can going and maybe bringing in a bigger name tackle to kind of.
Yep.
But I feel like a lot of it is also relying on the draft because I don't know. Still though, I think
I would do this. I would do this because the 4th round pick in my mind is going to be an interior offensive lineman anyway. And so if you're telling me for a player that we're probably not bringing back in Bryce Huff and a 4th round pick that you would use on a guard anyway can be a top 20 guard in Tevin Jenkins, I would do that.
Let's do it. There we go. Let's go. Oh, now we have to start from. Let's go. Let's go back to where we were skipping around a little. This is where we were. A 3rd round pick for John Franklin Myers. Now this is a really interesting one.
Not with Huff gone.
Not with Huff gone because we did just trade Huff, but he's probably going to be restructured. John Franklin Myers, I think so at least.
Yeah, you restructure him this year and then extend him next year.
I'm not doing this. I'd rather keep him for this year. I still think he's a good player. A lot of people are looking at him and he's like, he's not good. I think he's a very productive player, and I think that extension was a great extension. I think 2020 it was. So I think we restructure, like you said, and then extend him next trade.
Yeah. Nope.
Not doing that. But we bring in a 3rd and Hunter Renfrow for John. I'd rather go out and get a different wide receiver to.
I can't trade an edge. We just got rid of Huff. The only reason I would trade JFM is if I extended Huff. And let me be clear. I am not saying to trade. I prefer JFM over Huff on this football team because I think JFM plays 3 downs. Huff can only play on passing downs. So I think the value is in a player like JFM. There's a reason JFM started more reps. That being said, if you were seriously considering trading Jonathan Franklin Myers, it would be because you extended Bryce Huff. And since Huff is already gone, I cannot entertain a trade for my edge room, period.
Agree. Treylon Burks for a 3rd, and nope. We're done with John Franklin Myers offers. Another one.
Nope.
All right.
Yep.
Would you do yes?
Yep.
Let's look if there's another Zach Wilson offer in here though before we jump the gun on anything. Oh.
Nope.
Ooh. Yeah.
I would take that one still. I'd still take the Arizona one. It's much higher in the 6th, remember?
Yeah, that's
Arizona.
True.
Arizona's the number 4 pick in the draft order.
Yeah. These picks still haven't been generated though for the later round. I'd rather send them to Arizona personally.
But keep going. Maybe there's another one.
No.
No? Yeah, no. Then I would for sure. I would do that.
Yeah. All right, good. And now let's go back.
Not Devontae. Wait. What's the Sam Howell trade?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to those. Those you joined while we were just going through those trades, so we were gonna go back to those ones. Where were we? We were right here. Our 1st and a 6th for their 1st and their 3rd. All right, they're a little behind us in the draft order. Let's see. I think they're 12.
I can't make this pick. I can't make this pick. Why would they do this?
Because they might want to jump up and get a Fashanu.
The Titans are at 7.
Let's see this. They are ahead of us in the order. I think this might have been a glitch on the Jet X
Yeah,
Factor site.
yeah,
Let's not do that because we're trying to keep it as
yeah.
realistic as possible. And then they're first, and they're
Another one that's weird.
no. This is
The Giants pick 6.
that's true. That's true. I keep thinking the Giants are like the wide receivers. They're trying to look for that area. That's unrealistic. So no, I think
Falcons are
this might
pick
be.
8.
Yeah, that's another glitch, I believe. Let's go back to the trades that we missed earlier on. Devontae Adams, like I said, I'm just not doing it because it's very unrealistic. Biggest advocate to bring Pierce in, and Pierce got hired. I'm just not
But
doing it.
I get that, but it's also a new GM.
It is, but I don't think
I
there's
don't
any.
think I would do this trade because it's not even this year's first. It's next year's first. I would do this trade, but I agree. I don't think it's realistic.
I agree. Yes, that's why I'm trying. Like we're trying to keep it as realistic as possible. I feel that's why we didn't do those like scam trades, so to speak, at the end. That would just no reason those would ever happen. Sam Howell for a 6. Now this is an interesting one.
I
You
would do it.
bring the rumors have been swirling of Sam Howell to the Jets. Alan, this is the Jet X Factor off-season simulator that came out the other day. I would do it because then you're saving the $13 million you would pay for maybe a Jacoby Brissett. You probably pay Jacoby Brissett around $6 to $8 million a year. Sam Howell you can have for a long time, a lengthy amount of time. I think more time than Jacoby Brissett. Maybe he can learn under Aaron, and we're just giving up a 6th round pick. So I'm gonna accept this one. What about you, Tigo?
I would do it too. It is, in my opinion, I think it makes the most amount of sense in terms of bringing a backup, and then you still have a guy that you can have hope in taking over. And we've seen him operate an offense relatively well, and so and the cost control, because I think you're very undervaluing what Brissett is going to get in an open market. In an open market, Brissett's going to get, I think, closer to 15 million. Someone's going to pay him to start, man.
I think he's too old to get a starting job.
He's going to get a starting job. Not everyone's going to get quarterbacks. Not everyone's going to get quarterbacks.
I
Let's talk about
definitely
the teams that just need quarterbacks, right? The teams that need quarterbacks. The Bears, the Commanders, the Patriots, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Raiders. The Steelers could be in on that conversation.
I think they're gonna ride with Pickett.
I don't think they are.
I think
The
Tomlin really likes him, and I think Tomlin is gonna want to ride with Pickett.
Whatever, but like they can still be in that conversation. The Dolphins, and I'm not saying that they're going to move on from, but like crazier things have happened. They're all teams that might be looking at a quarterback. There aren't that many draftable starting caliber quarterbacks.
I mean, there's like 4.
There's like in the you like look okay. You go quarterback 1, 2, 3. That leaves 2, 3 quarterbacks left in this draft. Are the Falcons at 8 really going to take JJ McCarthy to start right now, or Bo Nix, or
I think
Michael
they're going to
Penix?
trade back or draft. I think they'll trade back that team.
So that's where I look at it and I go, Brissett is going to get a starting job from somewhere, and it's going to be like you don't the Raiders wouldn't pay Brissett $15 million to throw balls to Devontae. Like that's what I look at it, and that's how I look at it. The Saints might move on from Derek Carr after a year. Like there are a ton of teams that would be more than willing to pay Brissett, who right now is the best option at quarterback. He's the best one in free agency.
Yes, I can also see him going back to the Commanders, but
I agree. But again, it wouldn't be for anything less than 15 million.
I agree. So then we have these 2 trades left. We have the Cortland Sutton for a 3rd, and the Brandon Ayuk for a 1st. I don't know.
I would do it, man.
The Ayuk, I'm leaning towards that just because he's such a playmaker. If you look at him, he's a top wide receiver in football. You pair him with Garrett Wilson, I can't not press that accept button. I mean, Cortland Sutton, I guess, would technically be like the smart financial move because we'd get him on like a 2-year set, $14 million deal or whatever it is. But I want playmakers on this team. I want to pair Aaron Rodgers with another big name guy who can go out there and make plays. That's why I'm accepting this trade. Honestly, we can, like you said, we might only need one tackle, and that can be addressed in free agency. So let's go out right now and make this blockbuster move that brings in another playmaker, like I said, for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to. Someone who can have 1,000-yard years with Garrett Wilson. Someone who could be dominant. Let's do it. There we go. Now we're on to free agency. So these are the guys. Before we go into re-signing our players, let's clear some cap room. So here is our team basically. So I'm gonna look at the restructures before we look at the cuts. Restructure John Franklin Myers. I'm doing that, right?
I think there's only 3 players that you can restructure, and that you should restructure.
Franklin Myers. I think Quinnen you can restructure, and then there's Mosley, and then there's DJ Reed, I believe. But
the only players that you should restructure, in my opinion, is Jonathan Franklin Myers, because I think you're going to get an extension for him. I think you re-sign him, so you can help with the dead cap there. Quinnen Williams, because he just signed his new deal, and the dead cap hit isn't going to hit for another 4 years, so that's great. And DJ Reed, because my expectation is that we also re-sign him. And those are the only 3 players that I legitimately look at as restructurable players. I understand the CJ Mosley contract being the $21 million. You do not touch that contract because we have a relatively cheap out. If you take the $21 million cap hit this year, it's only a $4 million cap hit next year. If you touch that contract, you can push upward to $15 million into next year, and we can't be doing that. I would much rather eat the 21 this year, because he's going to play on the team anyway, then eat 50 then clear up 10 and eat 15 next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also we have some major financial problems that are going to arise in the next 1 to 2 years with the Rodgers contract and the dead cap we have and a lot of players and the deferred money. I kind of agree with you there. I'd rather eat the money. So now we've done our restructures. All right, cuts. We already brought in our guard. Tevin Jenkins. So I'm cutting Macon, saving the $8 million.
That's easy.
I'm also cutting Austin Seibert, as I'd rather bring Greg the Leg back again. And why not just save almost nearly $1 million?
Yeah, none of his contract is guaranteed.
Yeah, cut him. Who else? I think what's his name? CJ Uzomah. Yeah, Uzomah is the only other guy I think I'm really cutting. Where's Uzomah?
Yeah, he's right there.
Here.
Yeah, Uzomah's gone.
I'm not cutting Max Mitchell personally. I'd rather keep him.
I think a lot of people are really. I think they're sleeping on Max Mitchell. I know that I'm a huge Max Mitchell fan if you watch my channel for any amount of time. Mm-hmm. But I also think the kid has never had an offseason, a real one. You know, his first offseason was his rookie offseason, and we know how hectic those are. And then between his rookie and sophomore year, dude almost died. He had blood clots and all of this stuff and was on blood thinners. That's not an easy situation to go with, especially for a player also recovering from a knee injury who also still needs to put on 20 pounds. This is going to be his first offseason where he's finally going to be healthy and he's going to be able to work. And as a backup right tackle, which is what he's going to be, I think he is more than adequate. I think you bank on his rookie year where he didn't come in with an injury and where he wasn't supposed to even see the field, and he played exceptionally well, versus last year where he was dealing with recovering from a knee injury and dealing with blood clots still. So that's the way that I look at it.
Yep, I agree. Now let's go over to the to free agency and who we re-signed now that we cleared some cap room. Carl Lawson, no. Dwayne Brown, no. Jordan Whitehead, I just don't think. I'd rather
1 year, $3 million. If he takes that, is that the deal?
Yeah, 1 year, $3 million is the deal.
If he takes that, I would do it.
I'll do it. Quentin Jefferson, 2 years, $9 million is pretty favorable deal. I think I'll do that.
I want Quentin Jefferson back, but at 9?
Let's go back to that.
I
Chuck
would do
Clark
Chuck
at
Clark.
2.5, easy. Greg Zuerlein, easy,
Easy.
3 million. Solomon probably
Easy.
at 3 million. Hardy, we need the special teams back.
I wouldn't, but
We
I
need
wouldn't.
Let's come back to that.
Easy.
Easy. Oh,
Dude,
1.9. Yeah,
1.9?
Yeah.
Come on, that's not even real money.
Ashton
Davis at 2? Yep.
Morstead at 1.5, easy.
Yep.
Al Woods is probably gonna retire.
Yeah. If Bryce Hall would come back for that money, I would bring him back too. I don't think he comes back for 1.1.
I'd rather bring. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'd rather bring Hardy back at the 2.6.
I wouldn't. I don't think you need to waste a roster spot on Justin Hardy. Look, you can sign him because he's going to end up on the roster. Like Justin Hardy, like you can do the signing because it makes sense why they would bring him back. I just think it's a waste of a roster spot.
I don't know. I think he's very solid. All right, so we got our guys. We brought all of our guys back. Now we need to go into free agency.
But go back though. I don't know. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. We don't have enough cap. All right, so we have our wide receiver 2 already. Let's go over to the tackles.
Yep.
Now that we don't have Trent Brown at 2 years, $24 million. I think is very, very favorable. Let's see. Let's look at these other guys. Bakhtiari at 4. I'm not a big Bakhtiari guy, but
I would do Bakhtiari at 4 so quick.
$4 million for David Bakhtiari. That's around
for
the
a year.
1 year.
But let's look at everybody else though. He's like if I don't like anybody else, I would do that really easily. But yeah.
I'd probably do, but the 2 years, $24 million is still, it's $12 million a year, but Bakhtiari at 4 is so favorable.
Trent Brown, I would do that, but did he play every game this year? Because he's also dealt with injuries and stuff, right?
I don't think he played every game.
I don't think he played either. Josh Nijman, I think they're bringing him back, so I don't think he hits free agency. Who else is on this list?
George Fant.
Illuminor.
The Bills guy.
Jermaine Illuminor is the Vegas guy. Okafor, Fleming, Chris Hubbard, Chumadoga, Cam Irving, Matt Peart.
I'm going Bakhtiari.
Wait, don't keep going. Keep going. We gotta look, man. Don't rush it. Cam Robinson, 3 years, 45, done.
3 years, 40. He is solid though, and he hasn't missed a lot of games. I don't believe. Let me just check how old he is. But for $45 million, I think he's 28. Oh, 28. Let's do that.
He's a top 5 pass blocker in the league.
And we basically filled all of our needs. I mean, we can look at just the top players to check.
Wait.
Check it.
Look at can we see our class, our team?
No, I don't think we can until the end right yet. Yeah, it's. They said there was some.
No, can we go back to our free agents that we can sign?
Let's see. No, I think once you move on, that's it.
So we need an interior defensive lineman because we only brought in Solomon Thomas.
We signed Quentin. We signed Solomon.
No, we didn't. We signed Solly. We didn't sign Quentin.
I thought we did that.
Nope. That's what I'm saying. So you got to go interior defensive lineman. You got to bring in somebody.
Let's bring in some. I think Kinlaw. Oh no, $12 million for 3 years. Shelby Harris at $5 million a year. 1 year, $5 million. I think we got to rock that. He's 32. He's 32, which is something to keep in mind. But I think that's a good deal.
I guess. Let's keep looking around. Let's not rush a situation that we don't need to rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, actually, Maurice Hurst.
$4 million. Let's see.
I wouldn't mind that.
28 years old from the Browns. I think he'd be.
He's dealt with some injury stuff, but I would do that.
Still $4 million. Let's do that. I think that's a good option. Oh, we decided to sign elsewhere, so he's off the table.
That sucks.
Yeah. I think Kinlaw.
I wouldn't do Kinlaw.
Oh, I forgot that was the $12 million. Shelby Harris was the one that I
Yeah,
wanted.
Shelby Harris is probably the right one here.
Yeah, Shelby Harris. And then,
Yeah.
oh my God, another one decided to sign elsewhere. What about Sebastian Joseph? If I'm thinking of the right guy, he's very solid. Yeah, Sebastian. From the where's he from? The Rams, I believe it was. Rams. Sebastian Joseph. I think he would be a great option.
I don't think he's played. Has he
Yeah,
played?
yes.
Oh yeah, he has. For $4 million, let's keep looking.
Kinlaw. Justin Jones at 2.5. I think we just need to find someone who wants to play for the Jets.
What's the cheapest deal?
Kevin Strong. Oh no, Jonathan Harris. Let me check him.
Like, I know you probably want to go out and find somebody and blah blah blah, but like,
27 years old from Denver. 27. I like the age, and if we can get him someone to kind of just fit that role, play in that role. $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Which is,
And it's not great, but you'd have to assume that like his play would probably be better next to Quinnen Williams, right?
I agree. Oh my God. Decided
Another
to sign
one?
elsewhere. Yeah. Oh my God. So let's go. Austin Jackson is another cheap deal. Austin Johnson. Let's try to find the cheapest. Oh my God. He decided to sign elsewhere. Well, next cheapest deal is. Let's see. Was there a $2 million up here? 2.5. Justin Jones, I think I would take over Kevin Strong. So
I would too.
I think we go him.
There we go.
All right, now I think we got everyone.
Think we're good.
So let's go over the draft now. Now we don't have our first round pick, so we go in the third round now. So this, I want to see how this mock draft simulator works. All right, so yes, we do not have a first round pick. That's right, we did trade it for Brandon Ayuk. So we do need to find a way to have success, kind of, in the later rounds, the day 3 rounds. All right, here we go. Oh, Jalen, we do have our wide receivers though, but him being available in the 3rd round. You thought he was going to be a second round pick.
Rook-a-row-ha-row.
Let me go back to the top 50.
I think you have to go Rook-a-row-ha-row.
Yeah, but we're set on this interior defensive line.
No. We're not set. We've got bodies. We need players, and Rook-a-row-ha-row, I think, can be one.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you go Trey Benson here, a top running back?
Because this running back class is garbage.
I think you have a lot of depth at this running back class. In Braylon Allen, even Audric Estime. I think they're
you can get Estime or Estime, or however you pronounce it, in round 4 or 5. I'm not overdrafting a running back. I'm not overdrafting a running back. I'm not taking a running back personally. I'm not taking a running back in the 3rd because the value for running back, we need a running back 3 because at this point, I don't think either of those guys is going to be better than Israel Abanikanda. I don't have a higher grade on Jonathan Brooks or Trey Benson than I did on Israel Abanikanda. So you're drafting a running back 3 in round 3. I think
Yeah.
the value's not there. Now, Ruka Rohoro can legitimately come into camp, in my opinion. If you haven't watched him, go watch him. Can legitimately come into camp, especially with our defensive line and the coaches and the players that we have, and be the starting option next to Quinnen Williams, or at
I,
least be the rotation.
I think like you mentioned earlier, playing next to Quinnen is gonna make someone better. So why not take a chance at a guy in the third round like him? I think he's a good option. And we
Like,
also have more veteran guys now on this team.
my picks here that I look at personally are like interior defensive lineman and then wide receiver. Now, you could convince me Jalen Polk here would be excellent.
I'd rather go
But
Ohoro, whatever.
I don't know, man. The interior defensive line right now just scares me, the state that it's in right now. But gosh, Jalen Polk is so good. And that would also, I'm going to let you pick. My vote is Ruka Rohoro because the interior defensive lineman. But Jalen Polk being wide receiver 3, pushing Alan Lazard to wide receiver 4 is also very tantalizing. But there's still a lot of really good wide receivers. We might be able to get one in the 4th.
Yeah, I'm just going with Rook because, like you mentioned, there's more options in the 4th, and also we have 2 major playmakers in Brandon Ayuk now and Garrett Wilson. So I'm going with Rook right here. I think it's a great pick, great option in the 3rd round. Jalen Polk did just go, I believe, the pick after us. It was.
Oh,
so
Brandon Rice is gone.
Yeah, there's no way he's making it into the 4th round. All right, here we are. Let's see. We do need a quarterback 3, but I'm not looking at that until like maybe the 6th round.
I don't think we go into the year with a quarterback 3. You have Sam Howell. You're done. You're going to go bargain bin shopping. You're going to get a guy for league min.
That probably is true. Let's see. Let's look at the wide receivers right now.
Oh,
Jacob Cowing is very appealing that he's available in the 4th round.
Jamari Thrash down here is stupid.
What do you mean?
The fact that he's available is stupid. Malik
really?
Washington. I know the Jets love Malik Washington.
You know, out of all these receivers, I'm probably going with Thrash.
I think you can wait. I think you can wait, though. I don't think you need to reach for a wide receiver here. Not reach. And the only reason I say that is because if you look at that wide receiver list, there's still so many good players on that list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily feel like I need to force a pick. Like right now, I kind of feel comfortable going BPA and taking a guy like Christian Mahogany out of Boston College really is appealing to me so let me explain, right? We went out and we signed Cam Robinson, left tackle, sorted. We traded for Tevin Jenkins, left guard, sorted. The assumption was that Joe Tittman was going to play right guard and Elijah Vera Tucker was going to play left tackle, and that we would put Connor McGovern in at center, right? Because we brought back Connor McGovern. Well, if you bring in Christian Mahogany, well, now Connor McGovern is your backup center. Joe Tittman moves into center. And then Schweitzer is your backup guard. And you have Max and Carter Warren as your backup tackles. And now you have a really young offensive line who, without a ton of injury history, in front of Aaron Rodgers. And you have really high-level backups for when and if someone gets hurt. So for me, when I look at the board the way it is, I think BPA is the way that you go here, and I think Christian Mahogany is the best player available. But that's my thought process. I would also look at Cole Bishop.
We did re-sign 3 safeties, all 3 safeties. So I'm not really gonna look at Bishop, given the situation. But Mahogany, I'm gonna take here, and also the Jets they've established themselves as the best player available type of team. They always are known for going out and getting the best player available in the later rounds, and I can see the Jets doing that in that 4th round kind of area. All right, so here we are. We're back on the clock. Let's see. All right, let's go over to the Let's go over the
Just
wide.
for the names, Frank Gore Jr.
Oh, he's a good undrafted. Like if he goes undrafted, I think the Jets will make a move on him. I think they might bring him in as an undrafted free agent. That guy is a nasty runner. So if, the top 5 best players available are the positions you said the Jets should not look at in the draft.
I didn't say not look at.
Well, you said that you don't see them going with a running back because of the. You think Izzy
Early.
Abundant? Yeah.
I don't think they go with a running back early. At this point in round 6, I'm not familiar with any of the guys here that isn't Frank Gore Jr. I'm gonna be honest right there.
I'm not familiar with anyone that's not Frank Gore Jr. or Sam Hartman. I'm being honest here.
Yep. So, but like in the 6th, drafting a running back to be running back 3, I think that makes more sense than going into round 3 to get a running back 3. Does that make sense?
I agree. I don't know. I want to go Frank Gore Jr. here just because he's the only guy that I really.
Just all those people that have Frank Gore jerseys. Just now it's useful again.
Yeah, and also just because I've actually seen him play a little, and he's nasty, and I think the Jets will make a move on him. I say we select him. What about you, Tigo?
Man. I'm all for it. At this point, it's a crapshoot, right? You're just taking guys with traits. And so,
here we are again. What quarterbacks? Okay, Devin Leary. Okay, I'm gonna.
Nope.
Carter Bradley, Devin Leary, and Keaton Slovis are the only guys that I know on this list. I don't know Austin Reed and Brennan Armstrong.
Nope.
So, yeah. We didn't sign a tight end 3. We don't have a tight end 3. Let's just look at the best.
Well, Trey Knox. I'm not mad at Trey Knox. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I know
pick here.
Only guys I know here are Stogner and Knox, and I know a little more about Knox than I do Stogner. And I think I've seen a little minimal film on Knox. That's why I'm going to look to him. 7th round pick. Why not take a swing at him?
Just take a swing. The Zach Kuntz of last year.
And then we're on the clock again.
This is Mr. Irrelevant, I believe.
This is Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant, I think I was on Pride and Chaos, I think 2 Wednesdays ago it was. And we were doing a mock draft simulator. Mr. Irrelevant, we believe, has to be a quarterback, so we can hope he ends up half as good as Brock Purdy. What do you think, Tigo?
I take a quarterback with the last pick of the mock draft almost every time when I'm not doing something for my channel for the craps and giggles. I would go Carter Bradley here. Just go with a worst rated quarterback with the last pick. And I'm kidding. I have no idea. The only
Devin
one that
Leary.
I will say is that Keaton Slovis is not an option.
I don't know Brennan Armstrong and Austin Reed, I'm being honest. I only know Carter Bradley, Keaton Slovis, and Devin Leary. I think Devin Leary is the best option. It shows it on the big board also. He's the best player available, quarterback out of Kentucky. Why not? Why don't we just take a swing at him, right, Tigo?
Yeah, dude, he's going to be quarterback 3. It's going to be scout team. Like, who cares? He's never going to see the field. And if he does, the season is absolutely gone to crap.
All right. So this is our final picture. Here we go. So these are the moves. All right, yeah. All right. Ruke Orojo, or however you say his name. Mahogany Orojo. Orojo, or what I don't know. Ruke. And
it's
then
Ruke Orojo. So like row your boat.
Ruke Orojo. There
you go.
Frank Gore Jr., Trey Knox, and Devin Leary. I mean, for giving up our first, it's not a bad class.
We gave up our first, a 4th, and a 6th.
That's true. We did, and the 4th was also kind of key. And then we also traded away Bryce Huff and Zach Wilson, which I thought were, based on the scenarios we were given, were good tradeaways.
Yep.
We signed Jordan Whitehead 1 year, $3 million, which I think is a steal.
Yeah, honestly.
Chuck Clark is another steal. Greg the Leg, you need to bring him back.
Yep.
Solomon, you need to bring back. He had a 5-sack season, great against run and pass. Connor McGovern for $1.9 million to be a backup center.
Dude, that's a steal.
I'll take that all day. Ashton Davis at $2 million though isn't even money though, like you mentioned. It isn't even money if you think about it.
No, it's not my
No,
money.
yeah, and it's not money for Woody Johnson. Thomas Morstead at $1.5 million is another great option. I mean, one of the best punters in football. Bring him back. Hardy, I think you just need to bring the special teams unit back. Personally, that's why I wanted to bring him back. You personally didn't want to bring him back, but you thought he would find his way on the roster. So I was like, you know what? That's why I wanted to bring him back, and I think that would be most realistic. And then Cam Robinson, 3 years, $45 million to be our starting tackle, is
I think
is
that's a
a
steal
a great
personally.
deal. What is he, 25, 27 years old, 28
He's
or whatever he
28.
is? 28, yeah. And he can still ball. I think he's great. And the Justin Jones, we were looking for the cheapest interior defensive lineman because I think it might have been 4 or 5 people we put in for and they declined our offers. So we just tried to find the cheapest guy available as we needed to just find someone there.
We just need bodies.
Yeah. We cut Lakin because we saved the $8 million. Seibert because his money was guaranteed, I believe it was, and we're bringing Greg the Leg back. He doesn't need to be on this roster. There's no reason why we need 2 kickers. And Uzama just because he didn't live up to that contract. Cut him, drew in 1 cut, saved the money. Now let's go over to who we traded for. Tevin Jenkins is our new starting guard. We traded because we cut Lakin Tomlinson, so he's going to start for us 2024. What did we get the 6th-round pick in? I don't remember. Was the 6th-round pick? Oh, it was in the Zach Wilson trade.
We got a 6th for him, and then we sent a 6th with Huff for Jenkins. No, we sent a 4th with
for
Huff.
Yeah, for Jenkins. And then yes, the 6th.
We sent the 6th for Sam Howell.
We did send the 6th for Sam Howell to
That's what it was.
Washington, and then we brought the 6th then from Arizona to get Zach, and then we obviously got Sam Howell for the 6th, and then we got Brandon Ayuk for the 1st. Tigo, what were your thoughts? I thought we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, man. I think I think what we did ultimately was sacrifice a bit of the defensive strength on the defensive line to strengthen the offense, and I think that that's a pretty good balance there. You know, we objectively got worse, in my opinion, on the interior of the defensive line. But the rest of the defense stayed pretty solid. And then I think we objectively got better. Brought in a top 5 pass blocking left tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers' blind side. We got another wide receiver 1 in Brandon Ayuk. And so while we absolutely had to go through a couple of situations where we sacrificed a couple of the positions, like the tight end room is not as deep as I would like it to be, right? Because I would like to have like a legitimate tight end 3, and we just don't have one. We didn't have one last year, and because CJ Uzama wasn't that great. But overall, I think it went really well. Personally, I think with this team and health, it'd be if the team stays healthy, I don't see a team in the NFL that we couldn't beat on any given Sunday.
I agree, Tigo. Thank you for joining us. Any final thoughts?
No, man, that was it. It was fun. We got to do this more often.
I agree. Got a little last minute decision, but it was loved doing the off-season simulator. Tigo's first time on the show. Definitely have him back on. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, JETS Jets.